Our Gallup editorial team has taken a look at President Barack Obama's State of the Union address in terms of public opinion. What points did the president make that generally are in sync with public opinion, and which points did he make which are not? Well, the full rundown of 22 different points he made in his speech, available here at Gallup.com. But let me review with you some of the more interesting and major points he made and refer then to public opinion about the same topic. Let's look at some of the ones where the president was in fact in tune generally with public opinion. For example, he said in his speech, jobs must be our #1 focus in 2010. Well, you can't go wrong there. All of our data at Gallup shows that jobs / the economy is seen by the American public as our most important problem. And any other research I've looked at where we've given people lists of items and said how much of a priority should it be, show that jobs and the economy are at the top of the list. So Obama's right in sync with public opinion on that one. That's kind of a no-brainer. 2, the president evokes small business quite a bit in his speech. Remember this quote, "We should start where most new jobs do, in small businesses." Well, he's right in sync there because our data show that Americans are much more positive about small business than big business. In fact, it's a huge gap. If you talk about big business, that's down near the bottom of a lot of our rankings, but if you talk about small business, that's near the top. In fact, when we ranked confidence in institutions recently, small business was almost at the top, behind only the military. So evoking small business certainly seems to make a lot of sense from the public's perspective. The president talked about lobbyists in a negative way. We have to take action, he said, to end the outsized influence of lobbyists. Can't go wrong there either when we included lobbyists in our ranking of professions and had the public rate them in terms of honesty and ethics. Lobbyists at the very bottom of the list. A couple of policy issues. The president said we should move to build more nuclear reactors. Well, the majority of the American public favors that. The president said that we should work with Congress to repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell. In other words, let gay and lesbian people be in the armed forces. Our most recent data on that show that a significant majority of Americans would agree with that as well. Those are some of the points where the president was in sync with public opinion. What about the other way around? Well, a couple of major points where the president was not necessarily in sync with Americans. One was his evocation of the positive influence of the economic stimulus bill. He talked about that a lot, but our data showed that while the public initially favored a stimulus, by the time we had asked them about it later on in the last year, the public was down on the stimulus and certainly did not think, at least a majority did not think, that the stimulus had made the economy better. Finally, we get to health care reform. The president, of course, has been backing off of his push for health care reform, but he did talk about the need to pass it. Well, the American public at this point says, don't pass the plan as the president has formulated it. Instead, the public says, in our latest questioning, that the Democrats and the president should go back to the drawing board with the Republicans and start over again to come up with a new health care reform plan. I'm Dr. Frank Newport, Gallup's editor-in-chief.